Check this out. In life, nothing lasts forever. Everything has its peaks and its lows, the ebbs and the flows. And with boxing, that is pretty evident. The Brown Bomber Joe Louis was a top tier heavyweight of his day. But when he took losses to fighters like Ezra Charles and Rocky Marciano, it proved that his time at the top was over. Muhammad Ali deemed himself the greatest, but looked less than when he fought journeyman Trevor Berbick. Iron Mike Tyson will go on to avenge Ali, but will have a similar boxing face when he lost to Kevin McBride. And what do all these men have in common? They found all of these answers out in their late 30s. From the Brown Bomber to the Bronze Bomber. This leads us to Deontay Wilder, who in his last fight against Joseph Parker, let's just state it simply, this man looked washed. There was zero killer instinct within this man. No violent mindset. Got dominated for 12 rounds by a man that he would have knocked out 6 or 7 years ago. There is usually a saying for skinny people. Like if somebody is skinny, they'll say, oh, that person needs a cheeseburger. Or, oh, that person needs a steak. Or they look at their legs, oh, they got little chicken legs. This man, Deontay Wilder, literally came into this fight with toothpicks for legs. Whatever training that they did into this fight, whether it was the man's physique, whether it was his technique, it was terrible. And I get Deontay Wilder, he was on some heavy weightlifting. I believe it was in the third. It was either in the second or the third Tyson Fury fight. He put on more muscle. He was lifting a lot more, bench pressing a lot. Which in boxing, bench pressing a lot of weight and lifting all these heavy weights don't necessarily help you. It makes you more stiff. If you ever noticed when these NFL players or these football players, whenever they fight, they move stiff. They have stiff movements. They punches look stiff. And that's mostly because all of the weights that they've been lifting has restricted their movement. In boxing, you more so got to take a calisthenics approach, more cardio. You got to keep the body loose. So whatever physical training regimen that they did for this fight obviously wasn't the one to win the fight. Whatever Malik Scott, whatever he was teaching Deontay Wilder in this fight was too much. Because it looked like Deontay Wilder had paralysis by analysis. He was thinking too much. They were trying to do too much with Deontay to the point where the man was just watching his opponent dominate him the whole fight. He did not look like the Deontay Wilder of old. He looked like an old Deontay Wilder. The man was doing hammer fists for crying out loud. Hammer fist. That is an MMA move. And a hammer fist standing up just don't look right because it looked like you just windmilling. There was more effort put into this man's ring walk outfit than his actual training. And the sad thing about it is, when we talk about 5 years too late, which has become a new term in the boxing world, and usually they associate, oh, well, this fight happened 5 years too late. They associate it with Mayweather and Pacquiao. But if you ask both men, did that fight happen 5 years too late? Both of those men will tell you no. You want to know why? Because they made more money in that fight than any fight in the history of boxing. If that fight took place in 2009 or even 2012, they would not have made the money that they made. For Anthony Joshua and Deontay Wilder, the same cannot be said for them. Their value, name value for both men, were at its highest. At least for them to have a mega fight was around 2018, early 2019. That was the best time for them to fight. They will never get back to that level again. They both have lost name value since then by taking losses in fights that they shouldn't have lost and losing against men who have surpassed them in the heavyweight division multiple times. Yet they still want to get this fight going. And I'm not even going to get into the situation that just came out recently about Deontay Wilder and his brother, about Deontay dirty macking out here. But one thing I will say is there's a lot of turmoil going on in that camp. There's a lot of turmoil going on with Deontay right now. And that's not something you want to take into the ring. You don't want to take that pressure into the ring, especially at the age Deontay is at. Deontay is almost 40 years old. All this turmoil going on, that's not healthy for the mindset. When he was in the ring, there was no hunger. This man was at peace with whatever. And now you got all this extra stuff coming out and he's still talking about fighting. It's over. It's a done data. The days of Deontay Wilder doing the Euro step hook to knock out Stavern, those days are over. The explosive KO he had against Dominic Brazil, those days are over. It's finished. It's sad for me to say it, because Deontay at his peak was an exciting fighter. But that guy is gone. The Tyson Fury fights, they took a lot out of Deontay. He's not the same man. He's not the same fighter. He's not as active as he once was. And most of that is due to those Tyson Fury fights. But I give credit where credit is due. Deontay Wilder, he made it to this high level in boxing after starting in the sport late. So Deontay Wilder is always going to be ranked amongst the greatest heavyweights of all time, despite this late start in boxing. That shows off that this man had determination, that he did have that killer instinct once upon a time. And also he got dynamite in that right hand. The right hand of death. At the same time, him starting off boxing late has proven to be a detriment, because he don't have the skills to carry him later on in his career. He's not as explosive as he was before. But if I had to rank Deontay, I would rank him in that C tier. In the A tier, you have guys such as Joe Louis, Muhammad Ali, Lennox Lewis. In that B tier, you'll find a Tyson Fury, a Joe Frazier, a George Foreman. In that C tier, you could put in a Mike Tyson and a Deontay Wilder. Just to name a few. I put Deontay right there in that C tier of fighters, of heavyweight fighters, which is not a bad tier to be in. But amongst the elite, he's at that C tier, that third tier. But this was a quick video. I seen the situation with Deontay, and I necessarily didn't want to get into that situation. But as far as him fighting, as far as what I've seen in his last fight, and the man still talking about he won the fight, at some point you got to know when it's over. You got to know when to hold him, and you got to know when to fold him. Right now, as far as boxing goes, as being an elite level fighter, those days are done for Deontay Wilder. But if he proves me wrong, I'll be the first person on here to say that I was wrong. But we'll see. Peace.